Kevin Gordon here from Autosavant.com with our video review of the in-car navigation and electronics, or the infotainment system in the 2012 Ford Edge. This particular model is the two-wheel drive EcoBoost SEL model of the Ford Edge. It's been nice to drive. I think the most impressive part about it is the little two-cylinder turbocharged engine that's in it. It really does a nice job of motivating it. You can read a full review on the car on Autosavant. It's been reviewed by one of our other writers on the site. So this is really a very base car to have the full Ford MyTouch and navigation system in it. What it doesn't have is any of the stereo upgrades. As a result, I'm not going to go through and review the stereo in this car because for a base stereo it's fine, but it's nothing powerful enough or interesting enough, I think, for really worth the review. On to the Ford MyTouch, which has been given so much scrutiny in the press. I think it even knocked this car out of Consumer Reports, approved cars or recommended cars as a result. Well, for this year, they did make some changes. Namely, it has now a volume knob instead of a slider bar. The buttons here are soft touch. They're sensing instead of anything that you'd actually press in, but they do work well. Those respond well. The climate control's built into there. And what you end up with is Ford's new standard 4-panel navigation screen. So you get phone, navigation, entertainment, and climate. Climate won't really walk through. It's just important to note that for some of the features like fan speed and where the air is going to come out, you do need to get into the touchscreen to work with those. You can't do them directly from the knobs. Fan speed you can, but if you want it to blow on your feet and your hands, you need to go in here and touch these. The media controls work quite well. As I always say, one of those standard tests that I do like to do these days is whether or not a car can recover from a Bluetooth restart. And what do I mean by that? I mean you're streaming some sort of Pandora. So I'll set something up here. Go into Pandora. I'm going to pick my phone. We've now got screaming music. One thing you'll notice is no audio information is redisplayed on the screen. The other thing is, if I fully turn the car off, open the door to make it think that I've left, close the door, car shuts off. We'll restart the car.
Commuting is a big part of your daily routine.
And even though it seems like it tries to go to the Bluetooth connection, it defaults back over to FM because it doesn't find it, even though clearly my phone's connected. So it fails there. The other bigger problem I had, which is if you plug your iPhone directly into the car, directly into the USB port that's there, and to the car, the same exact thing happens, even if it's a hardwired connection into the car. So that's a bit disappointing. Beyond that, the rest of the radio controls do actually work pretty well. And it's important to note that from an input perspective, almost everything that you can do over here, you can at least interact with on the steering wheel. And I'll walk you through some of those pictures as I continue to ramble on here about what some of those screens look like and the options that you're given through the steering wheel buttons versus having to deal with the touch controls. Phone controls also work quite well. Standard Ford MySync, MyTouch, the sync system in general there. And, of course, the navigation settings. This Ford Edge is also updated fully with the newest version of Sync, which, if you're not a Ford owner with a car with Ford MyTouch, you may not know, but earlier this year they actually went through a process to send all of their people USB drives to be able to do a full software refresh on the Sync system to make the screen more responsive. And in that, they have done a very good job. I mean, it's definitely improved compared to where it was in the past. If we jump around here and go to type in an address, for example. So I'll go to destination, street address, start with a city instead of a street. So there you're going to notice, like, if you're used to how light you can touch an iPhone, you're going to be disappointed. But if you understand the way the screen works and sort of how it's expected to function, it's not so bad. You just have to know that whatever you want to push, you have to give it a real push. It's not a brush, it's a touch. So there's how quickly it finds a destination, it goes through, it's actually computing more than one route, which we'll see. It's going to give me 3 choices, fastest, shortest, or the eco route, and most of the time you just want to go with fastest, so we'll press start route.
The route guidance will start now.
And, I've talked about this in the past too, so radio's currently playing, turn off the radio, nav still works just fine, which is a good thing. So overall, the updated Ford MyTouch setup with the updated software package and some of the new buttons that are available in the console, it does work well, and I don't think that you'd be disappointed if you owned it, which you probably couldn't have honestly said a year ago even, where you would have been pretty frustrated with the system on a day-to-day basis. Today, though, I think that this works as well as anything's going to that's so heavily dependent on a touchscreen. I hate to say it, but I would have still preferred a knob in here to be able to work through the systems, whether it's like the iDrive control or Audi's MMI control with the 4 buttons around it. This concept of 4 quadrants and 4 behaviors going on here seems to be finally becoming somewhat consistent in the automotive world, at least across a few of the manufacturers. The TFT displays, the displays that surround the speedometer to give you more information on either what's happening with the car or what's happening with entertainment and navigation and climate in your phone. They do a very good job, and the interaction with those and the 4-way touch panels is also pretty good. But some rotary control to be able to spin to different numbers and addresses if you want to would probably still be my pick. The final important part to note, I think, on this is the fact that no, you can't type in addresses while driving. You can go pick some of your things like your favorites and your previous destinations, but you are bound, if you need to put in stuff, you have to stop. But Ford's voice control is one of the better systems on the market to date. So as I said, the voice recognition with Sync is as good as they get so far in the marketplace today, but it still is far from perfect. So here's the same address that we just put in. We'll try to put in through voice control.
Please say a command.
Navigation, set destination.
Try saying a device name like phone, navigation, climate, or USB. Asking what can I say will always bring up a list of active commands. For sync support, call 1-877-94.
Navigation.
Navigation. Say a command.
Street address.
To get started, say destination street address, destination intersection, or
Destination street address.
In Pennsylvania, say the street address including the city.
15 Augusta Lane, Fleetwood.
Sorry, please say the address and city. Say each digit individually.
Cancel.
Canceling.
So I actually did that intentionally to show you that while Ford's works pretty well, you still need to understand all the little cues that you have to set up in place for it to get it to work. So now I'm in the navigation screen. So if I was at home, I'd have to say navigation, wait for it to choose navigation. Then destination, then wait for it to prompt me for the address. And then once I have address, you actually have to do things like, instead of saying 15, you have to say 15. So let's see, and understand there's no extra edits here. I haven't gone through and shot this and reshot it. It's all pretty much one take, even if there's cuts in here. So we'll go into the navigation screen just to give it the favor of not having to say navigation, and try it again.
Please say a command.
Destination.
Destination. Say street address, intersection, or POI.
Street address.
In Pennsylvania, say the street address including the city.
15 Augusta Lane, Fleetwood.
When ready, press the voice button and then say set as destination, or say changed something.
So that time, because I sort of followed Sync's rules, which you'd need to learn, it did get me exactly what I want, and that would work driving just as it does while we're sitting here parked. So, in summary, again, I think that the Ford MyTouch system is as good as a touchscreen system is going to get. And it does have the benefit of being software upgradable. That software upgrade process is a little annoying in all honesty, but at least it's there as an option of a way for the system to be as future-proof as possible. I'm Kevin Gordon from AutoSavant.com, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon.